where you are in
Yeah.
the world right now. My name is Eric Kimberling here with AV Verekar, doing a sort of a flash, last minute, unplanned, unscripted live session here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook and Twitter. And what we're doing here is we're actually prepping for our upcoming Digital Stratosphere Conference. And I'm going to put up a QR code right there, even though it might block part of your face. This is my way of playing psychological warfare.
Yeah, I had to twist your arm to let me in on this live because of the cash talk you did yesterday.
Yeah. Those of you that missed our live podcast interview yesterday, AV was in the background just taunting and harassing us during the entire time, and he was afraid of this moment, which is us actually having a debate right now. But let me pop this up though, and I don't know if you can move your camera up a little bit, AV, just so it's not blocking you as much.
That's fine.
Even though I am trying to play psychological warfare to get inside your head before we start debating. So let me just set the context real quick. This is going to be a real quick live. It'll be about 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. We're going to stop at the top of the hour just to commitments, but we thought it'd be kind of fun just to get on the live here and practice what we're going to be doing at the upcoming Digital Stratosphere Conference. It's October 4th through the 6th in Denver. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen in front of you, and it'll give you just the full agenda, the lineup, the registration info, all that stuff. But the reason we want to do this live is because AV and I are doing a keynote session at the conference where he and I are actually going to debate, and we're not going to have predefined positions. We're going to have a moderator that's going to give us a decision point, and we both have to pick a side, opposite sides, and we have to debate opposite sides. And it's related to stuff around digital transformation and ERP implementations and common decisions that organizations have to make. So we're going to try and make cases for both sides of the spectrum. So the only rules here today are that I'm going to say the topic, AV is going to pick his position, and then whatever he picks, I'm going to do the opposite. And I'm going to make the argument against him. So I don't know what he's going to say, but I think we know each other well enough that we can probably figure it out. But
yeah, we haven't prepped. This is prep
for this. Yeah, this is our prep. So you're getting to watch how the sausage is made. The only rule here is that there is, of course, smack talk allowed, but the one rule that does exist is that we cannot say it depends or say both. We have to pick a side, and that's the hard part for both of us, I think, because we're career consultants.
Yeah, how do you do consulting without saying it depends?
I know it's a tough it's a tough one. But
let's try it. Yeah.
Let's jump in. Let's do. We're gonna start with some real simple ones. And by the way, I'd love to hear from the audience. Any topics that you would love to see debated here, just drop it in the chat. We're watching the chat right now. By the way, if you could also just drop in the chat what city and country you're joining from. We'd love to see, as we're debating here, what city and country you're from. So drop in the chat where you're from. And then if you have any questions or topics you want us to debate, we'll do it right here on the fly. So you can be part of this prep for us and getting us warmed up here. So thank you in advance for that. So the first topic will be cloud versus on-prem systems. What's your
cloud?
Okay,
cloud. Yeah. Why? Because, cost effective. It's always up to date. At least the marketing says so. And you don't have to have a server farm in your basement of your office to keep up with and spend capital dollars every other year because something goes down. You don't have replication on premise. Cloud just works if you set it up right.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I have to pick the opposite since it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is now I have to debate. I have to make the case for on-prem. So what I'll say about on-prem is that it's more flexible. It may be higher capital cost, but longer term maintaining the software can be lower than the ongoing annual subscription costs. More flexible, easy to. I already said flexible. I'm running out of stuff already, but so I'd say those are the two main things. Is it could give you more of a competitive advantage, and at least when it comes to the big ERP vendors that are legacy on-prem.
Yeah.
Those legacy on-prem systems have more maturity, more capabilities built over decades of R&D, whereas a lot of those big cloud vendors or a lot of the big ERP vendors are still making that migration over to the cloud. That comment does not apply to NetSuite, Workday, Salesforce, those vendors that were already always in the cloud. So that's my stance, and I'm sticking to it.
I think you said it depends without saying it depends. Very nice.
I know you picked up on that, right? So I'd love to hear from the audience, cloud or on-prem. Let us hear your thoughts as we're going through these other topics here, or who won the debate. Maybe that's another way to put it too. Tell us what you think of cloud versus on-prem, and or who won that debate for that question there. How about this? How about waterfall versus agile implementation methodologies?
See, because I listened to the live yesterday, and the gentleman from Taft was on, and he said that agile is an excuse for not getting it done. I'm going to pick waterfall. It's just easier to track. To me, it's like you have milestones, you have segments of a project you get done, move on to the next thing after you've accepted something. Agile to me it's a dance. You're never quite certain where you are. You need scrum masters and you need all kinds of certifications to keep up with what agile might mean to that particular group of people.
Yeah.
Waterfall it is for me.
Okay. So the hard part of this is I have to debate the other side, even if I don't agree with what I'm about to debate, which is the case here. I'll say, but I am going to make the case for it because that's our job here. We can't.
Rules of engagement.
It's the rules of engagement. I've got to debate now why Agile is better than Waterfall. And so what I'll say about Agile is it allows teams to move faster in the implementation. It gets more of it gets more immediate business value, so we can get technology deployed faster. And get it in the user's hands to get feedback and to be able to pivot and really deploy that technology and get some value out of it, rather than going through all the sequential phases that Waterfall requires. So I'm going with Agile for that reason.
Okay, I think I won that one. 2-0.
Is it 2-0? Well, let's see what the
How
audience.
About this? You pick the next topic. You go first.
Okay.
Let's see what I can do.
Okay. Well, the next one I had here was. It might be a little bit easier. It's a little bit more gray, so this will be interesting. But how about the audience? Who's winning this so far? Or even if you want to pick one of those two debates, who won the debate there? I've got to do this though, just because it's kind of fun and it's a nice little break or not a segue, but just a way to lighten things up before we get to the next topic. This is from Will on YouTube. He says, Iron Maiden versus Cher. Discuss. So
I'm fresh out of a Guns N' Roses concert, so it's going to be Iron Maiden for me.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that right before we went live. You were telling me about that show, and I'm a bit jealous that you got to see Guns N' Roses. So you're picking Iron Maiden. What about musical merit? Do you pick Iron Maiden over Cher?
Musical merit, I would pick Cher. But the ability to scream that loud. Come on, Iron Maiden's got it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got a good range. She has a definite target market, but Iron Maiden has good range. Very good musicians too, by the way. They're extremely good musicians.
And it's more apt for ERP consultants and projects in general. Iron Maiden works better.
Like the intensity and the anger.
Yeah.
The tension.
Good consulting music. Yes.
Right. Great. Okay. How about so the next one is single integrated ERP versus best of breed. Ooh. And this is a tough one for me, actually. So I'm going to pick best of breed, and I'm going to say best of breed is better than integrated ERP because you can find a solution that fits all your diverse needs within an organization. And this is even more true for the bigger, more complex organizations that have more diverse needs. So I'm going to say for those reasons, best of breed. I think it gives you more flexibility. The concerns with integration and single source of truth and data silos and things like that used to be a big challenge with best of breed, say 10 or 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think the industry has done a good job of creating tools and made it easier and less risky and less cumbersome to integrate best of breed. So because of the business value and the functional fit, or potential functional fit, if you find the right best of breed solutions, I'm going to go with best of breed.
Well, I'm going to start with the same caveat. I may not believe in this, but I have to debate my side. Single ERP is best because you have all of your data sources in one ERP system. The source of truth is one product in one system. You're not relying on a Snowflake or any kind of API connectors to bring in data that might not be accurate from another best of breed solution. So it's all contained, it's all controlled. And you're also with one vendor potentially, right? Or one system integrator that knows the system in and out and where all the tentacles go. So it's all in-housed. It's like Apple. Yes, you have other apps that you buy on the App Store, but in the end, it works on the Apple ecosystem between your iPhone and Mac and whatever other products you might have.
Right. Good point. Strong attempt, but clearly I won that one. So it looks like I'm up 3-0 now. Unless the audience feels otherwise, I'd be curious to hear from the audience.
I think we need rules of engagement need to be defined here. And what counts as winning, the truth or how
Yeah.
well I debated.
Yeah. Just because I said it's true and just because I said I won must mean that it's true and that I won.
Right.
No, I would love to hear from the audience though. And the whole point of this format too, by the way, is to show that there are, for the most part, strong arguments on both sides. And it's really a way we're trying to challenge people to think about both extremes, even though the reality is a lot of these decisions are not binary either or. A lot of them are sort of hybrid or it depends and that sort of thing. But the idea here is that we're trying to make strong arguments on both extremes to show what the pros and cons are, knowing that both sides of the argument have strengths and deficiencies. And hopefully that helps the audience here and people that hear the debate live at Stratosphere. Hopefully it helps them make better decisions for their organizations too.
And it really depends. I know we agreed not to say those words, but come on, depends on your agency, your budgets, your in-house staff, what kind of talent you have in IT.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And a more vanilla organization, for example, might find that single ERP just makes way more sense than a multinational organization that is independently operated and supports flexibility and that sort of thing. So those are the sorts of things you've got to think about. Let's see. What about getting more on the business side of things, maybe a little less technical, but more on the business side? Digital transformation, standardization versus flexibility, what should a digital transformation or ERP implementation be striving for? Standardization or providing flexibility to the organization?
I think it's your turn to pick again.
Okay. I'm actually going to debate the side that I actually don't necessarily agree with. It'll get me thinking about this stuff in case I have to debate it at the conference. I'm going to say standardization and common business processes, having a common operating model, consistent way of doing business, drives efficiency, drives profitability, drives consistency throughout the organization. It drives a single platform that it can be more cost effective longer term. So for those reasons, I'm going to say standardization.
I'm going to go with flexibility because I believe in it. There's a place for SOPs and processes, but I think we need to get to a point where, especially with the new workforce, they don't necessarily react to that really rigid rules. They need flexibility to be creative, to get their creative juices flowing. So that really flows into the business practices. So I'm going to go with creativity because, going with your gut and therefore being more creative about how you solve business problems can then be applied to policies and structured procedures. I don't think procedures and real rigid processes have all the answers.
Yeah. And you can see how a lot of these decision points that we're debating are sort of tied together, because as you're describing that response, I'm thinking about the agile versus waterfall and single ERP versus best of breed. All these decisions are interrelated. So you make one decision, you kind of have to make sure that the other decisions you're making in a digital transformation tie together in some way. So for example, if what you're saying is true, where you want flexibility and innovation, waterfall may not be the best approach. Maybe it is more of an agile in that case. But if you're really trying to drive efficiency and trying to drive more of a common customer experience, then waterfall and single ERP system might be, two decisions you make as it relates to that. Here's one that's not really necessarily a debate, but I think it's because it's an audience question. It's worth pulling up here. This is from Mohammed on LinkedIn. Mohammed asks how to selecting the right ERP for your organization. What are your thoughts on how to do that? What are the most important things there? I don't know that we'll necessarily debate this, but maybe you can share your thoughts there.
We can turn this into a debate question, right? What do you pick the product before you study your processes and redesign them?
There you go. That's a good one. I like that. Let's do that.
And I'm going to go with you study your processes, do your homework, document everything you need in terms of requirements, how you're going to redesign your processes, and then pick a product, not the other way around.
Okay. Wow, this is tough. I'm gonna debate the polar opposite of what I actually think. So I'm feeling a bit nauseous. I'm throwing up, having dry heaves because I feel sick that I have to debate this. So I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say
you can say, white flag, you win the point.
I could forfeit.
Yeah.
Forfeit the question. No, I'd say let me make an argument for picking the technology first. You can't know what your business processes are going to be unless you know what the technology is. And most organizations don't necessarily know what technology or how technology could help them improve their business processes.
Right.
So you don't want to do that in isolation. You want to pick the software and then look what the software can do and then use that to enable your business
Yeah.
processes. So how's that for
Yeah.
an argument that I do not believe in?
No. You know, the middle path, I think what both of us do in our practices is a lot of our clients have never seen a modern ERP. So at some point after we've gone through the process study and visualization of the future, we'll show them what a modern ERP does. And at that point, it's too late to just go off of one vendor's demo because people have had time to think about it. So I think the
Right.
answer is in the middle, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Here's a question, and maybe we can turn it into debate. This is from Abo on YouTube. Hey, all in greenfield environments, no approved processes, no clear policies, only new strategy, new structure, and going into a digital transformation. Can you guys give the priorities to start? So, in other words, we're very immature. We don't have mature
Yeah.
processes or established or documented processes. We're going to do a digital transformation. How do we start? So, do we start with business processes, like you're saying, or do we start with tech, or is there some other answer there?
I'm going to pick, and again, not necessarily what I believe in because it depends. Go with digital transformation. You know, look at the example of Kosovo as a country, one of the newest countries in the world. They are probably the most digitized country on the planet because they're small and they had nothing. They just started from scratch, and what they did is they just went for it. Everything is digital. Their passports, elections, driver's licensing, everything you can think of from government services, which is my world, it's all digital. And I think they did, because I've talked to a few of those people, they figured out the processes as they went along because they started with the outcomes and in terms of what digital services they want to offer, went and picked it or built it and built the processes alongside. Success
Right.
story.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. And I think what we're both sort of circling around or convalescing or coalescing on is that there's a hybrid, right? It's
Yeah.
you've got to have a clear vision of what you want your processes to be, but you also have to recognize that you don't know what you don't know, and technology is going to help you in ways that you may not recognize, especially if you think about artificial intelligence and BI and predictive analytics and things that you just don't have right now potentially in your organization. Knowing what the technology can do can help you rethink how you do your business processes for sure. So Mohammed said in response to the question about where to start with ERP selection, he said very good answer. However, Mohammed did not tell us what's that.
That was to me, right?
Well, that's where I was going with it. I was like, Mohammed, you've got to make a decision. Who won the debate as it relates to your question? Because otherwise, we're just going to be AV and I are just going to be bragging each other without any substance behind it. But well, good. Well, I know we've just got a quick little window here that we wanted to get on and do this live. I'm going to do while you're describing it, AV. Why don't you talk? I didn't do a proper introduction. I just said you're AV. I'm Eric. Let's go. Let's debate. Yeah. But we didn't talk about our respective companies. Maybe tell us a little bit about Avero, and I'm going to pop up the QR code for the conference here, and we'll talk about that here in just a second in the last minute we have here.
No worries. Yeah, Avero is a IT and digital transformation company. We focus on local governments in the U.S., modernizing their operations through IT strategic planning, digital transformation planning, and ERP replacement and implementation practices. Within that, we do a lot of business process redesign. So all of those questions about that were pertinent. I truly believe in doing processes before picking the system, and we have a practice built just around that for local governments in the U.S. Thanks, Eric.
Great. And Third Stage Consulting, which I'm CEO of, is also an independent tech agnostic firm. We do some public sector, mostly private sector, which is why our two teams complement each other so well. We're both co-sponsoring Digital Stratosphere October 4th through the 6th. So be sure to scan the QR code, check out the agenda, and hope to see you guys there. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, AV, for doing this live here, and look forward to destroying you at the real debate.
You're going down, man. Going down.
All right. We'll see about that. All right. Have a good day, everyone. We'll take care.